Today, I want to talk to you about a situation. So we pass a property in. I go to the highest bidder, and I said to the highest bidder, you know, what's your final offer? I think he said 1.5. That's it. I said, so you're not prepared to pay any more? He goes, no, 1.5 is it. I said, well, the owners won't take it. And then he said, yeah, but I'm the highest bidder. I said, yeah, but the way it works in real estate, you can be the highest bidder, but you're under the reserve. So you still don't buy the property because the owner's got to agree to lower their reserve. And he says, that's my final figure. I said, no problems. I said, thank you so much for coming along. Leave it at that. He turns around and he says, if someone else comes and gives a higher offer, can you please ring us up? I said, well, I'll speak to the agent and I'll let him know. But generally speaking, you've essentially just said to us now that that's your final offer. What is the point of an agent ringing you up and letting you know if he's got a higher offer? What is the point of that? Will you pay more money if he gets a higher offer? No, I won't. Okay. So can you explain to me what is the purpose of the agent ringing you up to tell you that they have a higher offer if it actually makes no difference to your decision in buying this property and whether you would increase your offer? No, because I'm the highest bidder and I'm entitled to know if a higher offer comes in. I said, sir, if I agreed with you, that would make us both wrong, and I'm going to let you know that that is not correct. And he said, no, I want to be told if there's a higher offer. I said, listen, I sense that you're still interested in this property. We have an owner that's here now. Why don't we give him some sort of increase and say that you've absolutely tapped out and that you're prepared to buy it at this price, and whilst you're both here and the heat's on, we can try and put down this deal. And he says, no, that's my final offer. I said, okay. I called the agent over. I explained it to the agent. The agent says, no, well, if I know that that's your final offer, there's no point in me ringing you up to letting you know. Anyway, I don't know how it ended because I decided to leave and go to my other auction because I'd already spent 15 minutes negotiating with this guy. But, you know, I've got to say, this is a really interesting point because there are real estate agents that would actually turn around to a buyer and say, hey, yeah, look, if we get a higher offer, we'll give you a ring. What are you doing? You're giving total control to someone else, right? You're taking the control from your vendor and you're giving it to a buyer. No, it doesn't work that way. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you're here today. Give us your final offer. We're going to do our best to get it accepted. If it's not accepted, move on, right? We're not going to go off and start shopping around, get your offer, then go off and say that person's got an offer. We're not going to do it that way. And I'm going to advise every person out there that is dealing with people that say, no, you come back to me when they're telling you they're not prepared to increase an offer, to think very hard about it. Because what you're basically doing is you're losing control of the negotiation and you're giving it to another person. Anyway, team, that happened today. That was one of my highlights of today. The second highlight, that is I delayed an auction by 15 minutes while someone that had 4 weeks to read a contract chose to actually read the contract starting at the time of the auction and asked us to hold off. I said, would you like to register? He says, after I finish completing reading the contract. I said, okay. And then he starts flipping through the contract. I said, sir, we need to start the auction. He goes, yeah, I'm just having a look. I said, sir, can I ask you, is there a specific item or something that I can actually help you with that you're looking at this contract? Because at the moment, you know, you're flipping through it. I don't mind it. It's just that there are about 30 people outside waiting for me to start an auction. And at the moment, I'm not even quite sure how strong your interest is on this property because you've chosen not to register. Would you like to register? He says, no. I said, okay. Well, if you're not going to register, why don't we do this? Why don't I start the auction? why don't you take the contract and have a look at it and read through it? And you know what? If you're still looking and you're unsure on what you're looking for, we will email you this contract as well. So you can read the contract tonight if you like. You can do it in your own time. How does that sound? He said, yeah, okay. And that was my second highlight of the day. That was my second highlight of the day. Anyway, team, it's nearly 7 o'clock. 14 auctions today. And out of the 14, I have to say to you, 4 out of 14 have sold. I'm just putting my thing on private. 4 out of 14 have sold. Which I'm very disappointed, because I thought it'd be better. Because I've been following this marketplace and it is better. So I don't want to use my results indicative of the market. In fact, I'm still holding the position I held a few months ago, where I believe that the market is close to bottom. The only properties that aren't being sold are the ones where owners are not meeting what the new prices are. They're the only ones that are not being sold. There are buyers out there. They're making decisions, right? They're pulling the trigger, right? And of course, that this week we had some very great news for the first time all year in real estate, where one economist, Louis Christopher, who's been the most accurate forecaster that I know for the last 15 years in real estate, has basically indicated that he believes that there are 4 typical scenarios that can happen next year, and that likely scenarios is that we're going to have prices going up, at least in Sydney and in Melbourne, which have had the big price corrections already. Ray White's results today are 69% in Sydney and 61% for all of New South Wales. We have a rate rise pending potentially next Tuesday. I have big auctions till the 17th of December. And team, yeah, if you're a buyer, I reckon you got 6 months.